Gentlemen.
Mr. Finto.
Hello, hello, hello.
What is up, my man?
I am good. Guys, I got the fireplace ready. Don't you worry.
Oh, 2 weeks in a row.
Oh,
Face?
nah.
Oh,
Wait, 2 weeks in a
baby.
row?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
I've no problem whipping the face out for this. My beard's getting bushy.
Oh my God, I could nestle up in that.
Yeah, it's getting
A
crazy.
handsome lass. You
getting
better shave
crazy.
that.
I am unable to get a haircut because my country's in lockdown, so I have decided to bush it up.
You just do what I did. I cut my own hair for like a while.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
It is scary, but
What's
it's also
up,
kind of
JP?
fun.
Sorry,
I gotta fix my camera. OBS, like Discord
I know,
makes my camera look so weird, bro.
My camera's all over the place.
Holy moly.
Circa's wife cuts his hair. I don't know. I have one barber and she's the only person that cuts my hair because my fringe is kind of crazy, so it has a
I thought
mind
Circa
of its
would
own.
be bald. No?
Circa,
I can't be the only one that thought that. He seemed like a
that's-
bald guy.
I'm not a... Yeah, oh, you wouldn't be alone there.
He was so good at like being a detective in Among Us. I was like, this guy's bald. There's no way.
Oh, here he comes.
Now here we go.
Oh my God! Look at that
baby
merch.
girl.
Look at that merch,
Look at that
baby.
Snyder looking good. Looking good, baby. Looking good.
Woo!
The gentleman. I think it's only the three of us
Beano?
tonight because I think
It's cold, Drnkie. It's cold. in the
isn't Anders is busy tonight? He was telling me that hoodie's fire, dude.
I have no idea. I haven't heard from him.
My Bronxiee hoodie actually shipped there like yesterday. That one I got for that charity thing you were doing, that bonfire thing.
Yeah. Nice.
That I ordered that like weeks ago. It only shipped yesterday.
Yep.
Nice.
We're down Max and the captain Annis.
Yes, we're down two today.
captain.
It's the
We're
three
not ready
musket.
for the week to week.
It's the three musketeers tonight.
They're gonna handle what the opinions they're about to get for the Snyder Cut.
I really want to hear your criticism of it.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
It can't be bad because the movie was great. Like,
I mean, great. That's a big word. That's
No,
a huge word, man.
bro, like, come on. Like, it was fantastic. Come on. Let's talk about it is a huge word. Let's talk about Falcon first. But
Okay.
Friday face cam Finto. It's only for the podcast. I'm not gaming with my face cam on because it's all
Put your camera on for your. Why?
because
Put it
it's
on for Fortnite.
no, because it's all about my amateur gameplay when it comes to Fortnite.
He has tears coming down his face. He has tears coming down his face daily. It's okay,
No,
big girl.
look, most of my following is for my accent anyway, so I've embraced it.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
mine
embrace
too.
it. Yeah, so like, I don't know. Let's talk about Winter Soldier first.
Okay. Why is it I always drop Falcon from the name too? Like I always say
Yeah.
Winter Soldier when it's Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like I don't know if it's like a weight thing because it's like 2 words versus 1, but
Why I say it is
Too
because,
much effort.
and I've thought this the entire time, and it's like, just I've always thought of Sam Wilson as a like C-list character in the entire thing. Always, he's never had any weight in a Marvel movie for me at all, and that's just the way I feel about it. But you know, I think like for me, the episode was great. Like it was a good episode of TV. It was a bit slow. You know, I turned to my girlfriend at one point. We were watching it together, and I just kind of, it was during the whole Falcon trying to get the business loan, and I'm like, it's a nice story, but I just don't care. You know, that was my kind of reaction to it. Like, I was just like, it's a kind of cool story, but I just don't care about it. You know.
Look at Drnkie's face. Oh my god. I think it's nice that we get to know him on a more personal level. 'Cause
Yeah,
we've never
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah,
with
no,
any of them.
I agree, but again, it's
And
not why I'm tuning in.
But I love the juxtaposition
Yeah.
of like him going to the bank, right? Where it's like he's
Moon.
this big
Yeah,
superhero.
this is
he
your first
literally
time?
saved the world,
I've got a big
the
stupid beard.
universe. He
I don't
saved
usually
it
have it.
all.
I don't usually.
And he has to go and sit down at a
Vortex, how are
bank and get a loan and have some nerd in glasses. I'm like, oh,
can I get one with your arms out, please?
Yeah. Oh my!
You see me right now? But like, okay, I cannot believe, because I don't want to get too deep in this. I can't believe you thought that was slow, but the 4-hour Snyder Cut gets an 8.
Yeah, bro.
That wasn't slow.
That was not slow.
I don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
No, that wasn't.
Speaking of slow, the slow-mo effects. Like every 30 seconds, there was a slow-mo effect.
Yeah, but it just.
I was the only one that was bothered by that.
No, I definitely wasn't. Well, if you're talking about like, are you talking about the Wonder Woman scenes? Or
no,
is it the Flash?
I was like
the Flash scenes.
Well, of course, the Flash scene.
Every I guess Flash. I'll give yes.
Yeah,
of course.
Flash has to be slow. He's a speedster.
But like. Nah.
Oh, guys, we got a community boost. Let's go. Max, thank you for the 2K.
I didn't mean to derail the Snyder Cut yet. My bad. I just wanted to point that little idea out.
I am happy to talk about the Snyder Cut all night long. I honestly.
I got a lot to say about Winter Soldier first.
Yeah.
Or Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Can I just say the opening to that? How exciting of an action scene that was.
Can I say one thing which absolutely shocked me as well? I am a massive George St. Pierre fan, and I had no idea that he was reprising his role in the MCU. That was like completely secret. That like second I saw him, I was like, what? Like, I could not believe that. I was like, that was amazing. How did they keep that secret? Like, I was like, holy shit. I thought that would have creeped out on social media or something, like, you know?
Yeah. So for people who don't like, kind of didn't pick that up, the first guy that the Falcon kind of beats up, the kind of mini boss or whatever, is the same one from Winter Soldier when they're on the boat, right? Like, that's the same exact character that they're playing with. And like, I love that it's just a little tiny thing in the MCU.
He's just UFC alumni legend George St. Pierre, GSP, like, and I just couldn't believe, like, because I'm a big follower of the MMA community as well, and I just think it's crazy that happened on, like, you know, especially with the year, like, not a lot is going on news-wise in 2020, especially for someone like GSP, and the fact that just, like, I couldn't believe that happened. Like, I thought it was crazy. Really, I thought it was crazy. I loved it.
Die, or do you think he's coming back at like just different little tiny parts?
I kind of laughed when he went out of the plane there, and I was like, okay, well, now he's definitely dead. You know, but again, it wouldn't surprise me. You know, I don't know. I just thought that was fantastic. I thought that was really cool of them to do. And the fact that it was kept secret was just crazy to me. Like, I just thought, like, how the hell, like, because, like, you know, we even got the Evan Peters leak, like, you know, we got that months ago. So, like, I don't know how that didn't come out anywhere, that GSP was reprising his role. I thought that was crazy. And I thought it was really cool. And again, I think I said this in your stream this morning, Drnkie. I think the first thing I said was, obviously before I had even seen it, I was like, this is going to take off, like, this is going to be just an extension of Captain America, like, you know, it's, and then the first character we see is someone from the Winter Soldier movie. I was just like, yes, this is brilliant, like.
Yeah, it 100%, like, operates just like a Captain America movie.
Yeah.
Down to, the score of it sounds just like all the music that was inside of Captain America.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for these boosts. Thank you.
I don't know. Overall, my first thing, like, that huge action scene at the beginning
was very
really showcased to me that this is why Disney wanted this to be the first thing on Disney Plus when it comes to the Marvel.
Yeah.
Where WandaVision really started off with like a real slow start for the first 2 episodes, even 3 episodes.
Yeah.
This one is like right out of the gate. You get huge action sequences. You get great character moments. And
Lewis, I wasn't sure what was going on with his
leading into the next episode. Like, wow, this
crazy.
Is going somewhere. Like, this is going somewhere interesting that ties to the entire MCU. Like, not just a personal story. You know, it's not like a Falcon or a Winter Soldier personal story.
Yeah.
It ties to a bigger idea about stuff that's going on within the MCU, like, right away. And I loved it. I love this first episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It definitely was good. I just kind of, I don't know. I'm always kind of a stickler. I kind of want to see something crazy happen in the first episode, and like that whole stuff with the terrorist organization was cool. Like, I think maybe they should have focused on that maybe a little bit more, because like there's clearly an enhanced villain, just and they kind of just like put, like, your man comes out and starts kicking the shit out of people. I'm like, who the fuck's this guy? I was like, what the hell? And then it's just like, we're cutting back to Sam trying to get a loan. I'm like, go back! Like, come on, what are we doing here?
You know, there were some huge moments in there in that episode.
No, I did. I liked it, but again, maybe it's just the fact that I don't really like Sam as a character. I think if I was more of a Sam fan, I think I would really enjoy it. But I'm not invested in the character. You know, I want to know more about Bucky. I want to see, like, again, for the most of that first episode was focused on Sam rather than Bucky. And I sat there and I was talking to myself, where the fuck is Bucky? Like, you know, I want to know more about what Bucky's doing because he's a more interesting character to me. You know, I even when Endgame happened and Cap handed the shield to Sam, first thing I said was, "Oh my god, I can't believe Bucky's not getting it." You know, and I kind of understand why at the same time. Like, I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the real world as well as in the MCU, and I can understand why they've given it to Sam first. But I think Bucky kind of deserves the mantle more. You know, he was Steve's actual best friend and so on, and he is enhanced with the same serum. He is a super soldier. It makes more sense to me personally, but I do understand why Sam's getting it. And like, to jump to the very end of the episode, I don't know if you want to go break it like kind of start to finish, but when they revealed that new Captain America, I actually burst out laughing. He was horrendous. Like, he just looks like he works in an office somewhere. Like, they just threw a Halloween costume on him.
Yeah, and like almost like intentionally so. I think what you say about Bucky being a more interesting character, 100% agree with you. He has like, you know, an entire movie was based around him being a bad guy and being Steve Rogers' best friend. Like, he's definitely a more developed character. That's why I think in this first episode, not only do we get two really great separate stories between Bucky and the Falcon, which I thought they did a really great job of kind of bouncing those stories off each other, even though they're not connected at all yet, right?
Yeah.
What I do appreciate is that even though we do have Bucky, this well-established character that we love, we got interesting plot points from him going on. Yeah. They really started to ground Falcon with you and make him a more interested, a more well-rounded character with death by introducing his family, introducing the idea that he had all this going on and he kind of leaves, but he still has this big problem going on at home that he was away from it.
Yeah.
I love his interactions with the people at the docks. It made him feel real.
Yeah.
The way that those people talk to each other on docks, like, I've hung out with those people in real life, and it was like those little moments that instantly made Falcon for me a kind of, like you said, a C-list character who we don't really think about. He is that, like, endeared him to me instantly.
Yeah.
And now I'm really getting invested in his entire deal. I also really love the tiny and maybe not tiny, like, kind of overt racist tones that they're getting there, because it's not like what they're doing is how real life is, where it's not this like overt racism. It's kind of this like underhanded, like you gently feel it type of shit. Like, I was loving that, man.
Yeah, that was definitely very real. Like, where you made that comment about people resurfacing after the blip, and the sister makes the comment like, we're the ones that are going to feel it, sort of thing. Like, it was definitely very real. I just want to kind of read out. There's a couple of things in the chat here which Mex says, just that twist where we found out that Bucky killed the son. That was crazy. I wasn't shocked by it though. Like, I saw it coming, obviously. But it's a crazy it's a crazy story point. Like, I thought that was a crazy scene. I actually laughed when he was trying to open the door. I was just like, oh, the poor guy. Like, and that was just crazy. But yeah, no, dead right. That hurt. Like, especially when he's at the door and he sees the picture and he just realizes, like, oh God, no, my nightmares are coming true. This has repercussions with the life I'm living now. Which is crazy. That was crazy.
I love that too.
Annie says as well, like, which is very true. And I do think that this is the main point as to why Bucky isn't getting the mantle, is because it's like, everything that's led up, all of his actions as the Winter Soldier are still quite fresh in people's minds. So you can't really give him the shield. Because it's still very fresh. I do understand that. I agree with that as well. I think that is correct. I do think that Sam should probably have the mantle first, but I think Bucky is the true second Cap. you know, I think in a grander scale of things, he's a super soldier. You know, he is the second best thing to Captain America. But yeah, look, I enjoyed the episode. I cannot wait for more. I think it was great.
You don't think Falcon's gonna get superpowers in this one?
I don't
They're
don't know.
Him the serum.
Well, I don't know.
The serum.
Yeah, I don't know
You
how.
think?
I don't know how. I hope so. I really hope so. I think it would help develop the character and help solidify him as the next Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
any pilot in the U.S. Army could technically just put on that wingsuit if they're trained and be the next fucking Falcon. You know what I mean? He doesn't. There's nothing that stands out ability wise apart from that wingsuit. You know, if he's just a normal dude, he's the same as any other soldier in my eyes. So I think if he was to get some sort of serum, if there is a such thing, I would love to see that. Even that first fight scene where he was like kicking people out of the plane and stuff, I was like, how is he doing this? Like, I know he was kind of using the wingsuit as a propeller and stuff, but like he was just throwing like capoeira kicks and flinging soldiers across the room and stuff. I'm like, yeah, but soldier. Like it wasn't really believable for me because I'm just like, you're a human, like you can't throw people across the room. You know, I don't care about your wingsuit. Like you still can't kick people out of a flying plane. Like, you know. That was, again, sometimes I'm awful for it, but sometimes I will like overanalyze a show, and I'm like, he shouldn't have the ability to do that. Like, you know, I know
right.
I know his power level, he shouldn't be able to do that. You know,
yeah,
and that kind
that's
that it is. That's the depth, and that's my own problem. But that's the depth I go into. Sometimes I just think his power level's not there. Like, you know, that's something that Bucky should be able to do. You know, he should be able to kick a soldier across a room and out of a plane. Like, you know, whereas Falcon shouldn't be able to do that. And I like the way when he was doing like the flying knees and stuff, he was actually propelling with the suit and stuff. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I understand. That's brilliant. But some of it I was just like, I don't know.
But see, and just to kind of play off what you're talking about with like who gets the shield or whatever, I think if you give Bucky the shield right now, like he has an interesting story to already be told. Like he has an interesting place to go as a character. Like if you give him the shield, that kind of like glosses over all the interesting stuff that we could tell what Bucky's going through, just coming out, like, you know, really just starting to land on his feet. Whereas, you know, Sam as Falcon really doesn't have that much of a place to go without the shield. Yeah. You know, if he just goes back to being the Falcon, then he's just like an Avenger that comes in and like, you know, kind of toss it around every once in a while. But him getting the shield really opens up this whole idea of, is he worthy of it? Is he, you know, the soldier, like, you know, a captain was, to like pick that up and like take that on and be the mantle, be Captain America. Someone that stands for like ideals in this whole thing. Like I just think it makes it a lot better of a story, a more interesting one for me personally. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like I don't know where Sam goes without that. Like I'd love to see what more people. I was surprised to see Rhodey in the episode as well, actually. Yeah,
Didn't not expect that one either.
Yo, Clint, what's up? I know he's getting his own show, and that kind of makes more sense. Yeah, he is. Yeah, there's Armor Wars or something it's called.
Am I right? He's getting Armor Wars. It's like in like 2 years or something. It's like down the road.
But now, the second I saw him, I was like, it makes sense. It kind of ties that up, and then, you know, Sam can kind of come into his show, and it kind of ties them together. It's, you know, it makes sense, but. At the same time, I was kind of shocked to see him. I just didn't think about him being there, you know, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's cool.
And one thing I thought about that might be a bigger point, or not so much big of a point. One, it was great to see Rhodey, but it's just kind of hilarious how the MCU, we're just so used to all them being together that when he shows up, it doesn't even register that he shouldn't be there. That this isn't his show. Yeah. But two, he was kicked out of the Air Force. He was court-martialed for what he did, but he was back in uniform. So that's a big story point that's kind of maybe setting something up that they're going to talk about, like, why is he back in the Air Force when he was court-martialed and kicked out, right?
Yeah.
And his legs didn't look as bulky too, where in like in-game and stuff, he had like bulky leg things to help him stand up.
The braces and stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was just kind of like a costume thing, and they're like, oh, the pants will cover that up. That's no big deal. But I did find it interesting that he was wearing his uniform again, that he was back at a Washington event for people who are in the military, like it's at the Smithsonian, but it's obviously put on by the DoD. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm interested to see where Rhodey's going, just because that little tidbit and why the MCU is so good. Yeah. Just these little things.
There was a little one-liner in it as well, where they spoke about allies becoming enemies. Was that Wanda?
I don't know.
I think it was. Like, that's Wanda. Wanda popped into my head with that, but I'm not sure.
Could be so many people. Like, it could be, you know, with the Winter Soldier, maybe like Bucky and the Winter Soldier are kind of at odds at the very beginning of this thing, and then come back together near the midpoint of the season. You know?
Yeah, like I don't know. I presume like when Bucky's in his council session, you know, where she's like, "Give me your phone," and she's going through the phone. She's like, "Oh, you're ignoring text from Sam." So I presume Sam is trying to get in touch with him, but he just obviously is, you know, he's
like the rest of us,
shallowing out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Sharon Carter in the credits? No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I thought I'd seen some
promo
stuff with
yeah,
her.
no, I know she's coming into it for sure. She's like,
Yeah.
going to be very heavily involved in the season. Very heavily involved.
Possible
Like, she's
love interest.
with who? Bucky or Sam?
I don't know. I don't know who.
I love going back. You know, after you see everything, like after you watch all the movies, I love going back, and just kind of like realizing it's like, you know, where her and Cap have that moment, and it's just like,
yeah,
what is she playing at? Like, you know, she knows the history. Like, obviously he's going in blind; he doesn't know what's going on, but she knows the history.
Uncle now.
Yeah, and it's like, she must have known like him as a man. Like, I'd love to. I know there's been kind of talk of like a Captain show, like, or like, you know, people have been spitting the idea of, you know, do a 4-parter or something where Steve returns the stones and then you kind of get a glimpse of him back in the 40s, or like, you know, a bit of a timeline of how he got to hand the shield to Sam. I would love to see that. I just think there's a lot of unanswered questions there. Like, you know, I'd love to see, you know, someone said like, imagine that he was actually Stan Lee the whole time, popping into every movie and just kind of, you know, checking how things are progressing and stuff like that, and he's just kind of like in the shadows the whole time. And that would make sense. Like, you know, if that was me, I would 100% be like, okay, it's 2008, I should be popping up now and blah blah blah. Like, you know, oh, Tony Stark's about to create the first suit, like, let's go and see what he's up to, like, make sure everything goes right. That would be, in my eyes, a fantastic show. Now, I don't know if you could get Chris Evans involved in that, but that was the original plan. Yeah,
that's pretty fun, actually.
I would love to see that. And then, you know, you've got the whole kind of his private life, and then you get to recast Peggy as well. I love Peggy Carter. Like, I watched the Agent Carter show. I really enjoyed it. With the original Jarvis and stuff. I thought it was actually pretty good.
I just hope they do like a little like mid-credit scene of like old man Cap, and he's just at like a typewriter. He's just like making comic books or something, you know?
Oh,
like
yeah, signing off as like he is Stan Lee or something. I think that'd be like a true like tip of the hat to Stan, and like a kind of way of keeping it alive for a little while. Like, I think someone should take over the cameos, whether it's like, there's been a couple of ideas floating around. I love the idea of Wade Wilson, because he could just he's knocking on the fourth wall all over the place. It doesn't matter where he shows up, like, you know, so he is the Stan Lee technically, like, you know, it makes a lot of sense. But I do love the idea of if they could get Chris Evans into old man makeup and just have him take over. I just think it'd be so cool, and everyone would love it. Like, everyone would love it.
I mean, he's technically still alive, right? Like, old man Captain is alive in the universe. Like, right now, he's alive.
That's right. What I was about to ask. I was about to ask that question. I was about to ask that question because I saw someone put up, like, you know, one of these big TikTokers who are, you know, they've become celebrities by themselves. Some of these guys who do all these theory videos and stuff. I saw one of them post something like, you know, I feel like we're gonna get Cap's funeral in this show, so, you know, get the black suit ready, sort of thing. And I'm just thinking, like, was it referenced? Like, is he alive? Is he like? I presume he's still alive. Like, this, I don't know what the timeline is. Like, how long has it been since Endgame? Like, I don't know.
Didn't they say like 6 months ago?
Did it?
They all came back.
Okay, so it's 6 months after Endgame,
or something like
closer,
that.
I'm sure.
Few months after.
Yeah, I must look it up just to get the official timeline.
The first thing we see though is him putting on a suit.
Yeah, that's what I know.
At the beginning of the show. I was scared. Oh my god!
I was scared
because I don't want to see this.
I had read the whole thing about the funeral, and I was scared because I was like, "Shit, no! With this, don't give me this funeral now. I don't want. I can't deal with this." Yeah, Wanda with like Wanda. I know the Wanda timeline was easy enough because Wanda stole the the body of Thing like 9 days after she came back. I think that was said in the show. It was 9 days after Endgame. She went in and robbed the body and went back to Westview. So I'm just curious if this is 6 months after that.
This one's definitely before Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, I think they're still both before Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Which is very confusing.
As a prediction, I would say that the opening scene to this show, with him getting ready and putting the shield on, I think that this is going to be also at the end of the season, where it's just kind of a fake out where he's going to Captain's funeral. He has the shield again, and that's what that scene's supposed to be about.
So
that might be it too.
That scene wasn't him going to give it to them at all, like put it in the museum or whatever. That's actually the funeral. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. That does make sense. So, like, do you think that we're gonna get Chris Evans to appear on the show as Old Man Rogers? Do you think he'll do it?
I think he would, man.
I do too. I pray he does. I hope so. I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
Like, he seems like the person that like doesn't want to just live in the Captain America role forever, because he likes to do a lot of different roles. He wants to kind of go elsewhere in his career.
Yeah.
But he seems like he's the type of person, and from all his social media posting and all the time we see him getting along with the cast member, that he's still part of that family. So if they're like, hey, here's like a small cameo for you to come back, I 100% could see him coming back for like,
don't worry about
a 10-minute thing, just a little thing to pop in real quick. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's what I really want to see Cap again. I just think like it just ties it in even more beautifully to the kind of, because I think this, Wanda was its own thing, its own kind of weird thing, whereas this is the proper next step to Endgame. Like this is exactly, this is where what we should have seen next, as you said. So I really hope we get that. I want to know as well how that terrorist or whatever, like who they are and how they're enhanced. So
what a great idea for an organization too.
Yeah,
like people who liked the world when it was blipped and they want to go back to that. Like that's such a cool premise.
Yeah, to
like kind of set them up inside of the universe like that we really haven't seen before. Like I love that idea.
I love the line as well where he was like, when people benefit, there are obviously going to be people that don't, and then when something gets reversed, there's obviously going to be a pro and con side to each event. So, it's going to have backlash and so on. I love it. And I obviously the villain from Civil War is going to be making his return. Hydra 2.0. Yeah, exactly. It is like Hydra 2.0.
That Captain America at the end, he looked totally Hydra, right? Like his whole suit deal, like that was complete, like, German, buckled up, really tight. I was like, what the hell?
He looked like a computer analyst from S.H.I.E.L.D. or something. Like he didn't look like a hero at all. His face looked Hydra.
Yes, little snake face.
Yeah, the suit was awful as well. It was really bad. Didn't even fit him. Like it was just horrendous. It looked like Steve Rogers before he got the serum. It was like the Falcon. It was really bad. But
I think I was talking with Annie earlier, and I think she said that she saw it like twice, and that guy who is the new Captain America at the end was one of the guys who said like, you better hand it over when Sam was getting rid of the shield. So there was this old guy, and then he was there too. So he was like, you made the right choice.
Like he was in the background, like next to the guy or something, eh?
So I read a lot more DC than I do Marvel, so I don't I go into a lot of this stuff blind. I don't really know what's coming, and then I kind of do a lot of my research after the fact. So I don't really know. I know is there something like a Patriot fella coming to it or something? Who's the guy? There's supposed to be like a new hero coming to it or something. They refer to him as like the Patriot or something like that. Am I wrong?
Maybe that's what they refer to him as, Captain America. Like he's the Patriot.
Yeah, it's like Captain Patriot or something. I saw it written somewhere. I just can't remember the name officially. But I presume that's going to be this new little nerdy fella.
Yeah.
Serkin, I wonder why you like the Snyder Cut.
I'll just say overall too, while you're looking that up, that I think that this entire episode just kind of put the whole WandaVision thing to shame. And like, I don't know if it was a production thing, if it was a timeline thing, but I felt like Wanda's entire show was like C tier in terms of production and all that compared to this entire show. Like down to the writing, down to the acting of the side characters, every bit of the show just seemed leaps and bounds ahead of WandaVision. And I was not expecting that. I was not looking forward to Falcon and Winter Soldier because I thought WandaVision was like a little bit light. I was like, the writing was pretty bad. The effects were okay. The last episode was great, like a big battle, and that one felt good. But everything else just kind of felt like basic TV. Where this one just came along and like smacked it out of the water. Where this did feel like,
Sir, I presume they are. There are different, like each episode.
The
probably
first
a different
hour
director.
movie. This could absolutely be the first hour movie, and like you would not even notice. You know?
Yeah. And like I don't understand. Like Wanda was like a $225 million budget. Like where did that money go? Like, and I'd love to know the budget of Falcon because like Falcon is like a blockbuster movie, as you say. Like it's. You've got Sam from flipping out of planes and stuff like that. Like, it was all go like from the start. It was great.
It has to be just building all the sets and the timeline. Whereas here it's like you just get like a street and you're like, all right, set it up. We can use this. This is New York City. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy.
Someone in my chat said, on the first Captain America, the Hydra soldiers' outfits look the same as the Captain America at the end, so they're thinking it probably is a Hydra. Maybe are they trying to hint at Hydra Cap or something? Because I know Hydra Cap's a big thing in the comics. But I was praying if they were doing Hydra Cap that they would get Chris Evans back to actually reprise that, and it would be like an alternate universe version of himself, which would be fucking bonkers. I would love to see that. Yeah, I would love to see that. Like that'd be such a great thing for him to come back to. I love the whole idea of the hero as a villain, like an alternate version. Like that's why I love my favorite comic series of all time is Injustice by DC. Like I thought that was just a mind-blowing set of books. Like if you haven't read that, honestly I would go online and order it right now, buy those books and read them. It's the best 5 books of comics that you'll ever read. Like it is just insane.
Really?
Yeah, honestly. They did, there's a game, there's an Injustice video game, and that's where that's where it started. So that storyline basically expanded into an alternate universe DC. Like it wasn't part of the official DC like current comic book stories at the time. It was a alternate universe, but basically the story of that is the Joker basically infects Superman to think that he's fighting Doomsday, where in fact he's actually beaten Lois Lane to death, and he ends up killing her, and he snaps out of his hallucination, and Lois is in his arms. It is so dark, it's incredible. And basically he just snaps, he goes pure evil, basically takes over the entire world, wants to get rid of all villainy, he wants to kill everything. He kills the Joker, just snaps his neck, like just dead in front of everybody. And Batman obviously doesn't stand for it. He still has his no killing code, and it kind of puts a faction in between it's kind of a civil war, then puts a faction between the heroes. Half them go with Batman, half go with Superman out of fear, and then it basically turns into a dictatorship. Superman takes over the entire globe. It's incredible. Honestly, I cannot recommend it enough. But the game kind of tells the story of the first book, and then DC just went wild with the story, and they went on for like 5 books, and each book just gets better than the last. It's nuts. Honestly,
I had no idea about this. I knew it was a game, but I didn't know it was this good of a comic series.
Yeah, it went on for like 5 years. It was incredible. Yeah, I would highly recommend it. And I think that's what I think that's where Zack Snyder is getting his influence for the Nightmare Tales or Nightmare Realm or whatever he wants to call it. That's where this is all coming from, because that end scene in Justice League is an exact take from those books. It's just Injustice, where they're kind of flipping the story so that Darkseid kills Lois and then corrupts Superman, and he basically turns into a dictator or whatever. So it's nuts. I think Warner Brothers need to make that movie. I think it will be incredible. I think.
What's your guys' rating for Winter Soldier before we move on? Because I can already feel it's ramping up. I can feel it's getting there. Into his itching. It's like, let me talk about the Snyder Cut. Let me in
there. Oh my god.
No, keep talking about Falcon. Like I love talking about Marvel stuff. Like
I think we hit it all pretty much.
I think so. Yeah, I don't really think there's anything.
I'd love to
going on.
see where it goes, but that first episode was amazing.
First episode.
Yeah,
That first scene got me like, wow, damn.
I'm going 8 out of 10.
So good.
I'm solid 8 out of 10 for that episode for me.
Yeah, I have no problem giving it an 8. I think that's a very justified score.
It's pretty underhanded 8 from Pinto, by the way.
It's a low 8. It's a low 8.
No way. We might be going.
Yo,
7.9,
Sean, what's up, dude? How are you?
Give it an 8 real quick.
I know.
I'll go there. Okay, then.
I'm not going like, this is a 7.6 or something, like, I'm kind of like low 8, mid 8, or high 8, like, it's,
Yeah.
I'm not going like, this is an 8.3, fuck that. But no, I
drinking a Guinness?
No. What's that beer you're drinking, Bronxiee?
Me? This you can't find this anywhere else. Yup.
You?
That's Swedish.
Jupe?
Yup.
That's the jupe right there.
That's the yup.
You pronounce it Yoop?
Yup. Yeah, the D is silent.
Oh, wow.
Silent.
D's. You love
Yes.
All right. Is it-
Sean, what's the news? What's the news, Sean?
Oh, it's a beer. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just drinking. I'm drinking Canadian at the moment. I forgot my camera's on. I don't usually.
Oh my god. He forgot his
Yeah, I was like, my camera's on. Yeah.
Dangerous. Stands up. He's got no pants on.
No, you can buy 20 bottles of this in Ireland for $14 for 20 bottles.
It's insane.
No wonder we have such a drinking problem in this country.
Is
eh?
it good?
Yeah, it's good. It's like, it tastes like Heineken or whatever. Like, it's standard lager. Like, it's it's fine. It's good. For 20, but throw it in the fridge. Like, you have a crack with a cold one of them now. It's nice.
Yeah.
I
Nothing.
No, well, I'd say as you said this morning, you were still suffering a bit from the Paddy's Day stream.
Don't worry.
Oh,
You two
that
will
was
get
so
there.
funny. Oh my god.
You two will get there. The 2 days are coming. They're coming. Don't worry.
I haven't drank a crazy amount
my God.
in, I'd say, about like easily since this lockdown's happened. I sip on beers all the time, but I haven't been like wasted in probably about a year and a half, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun on St. Pat's stream, and like I would do stuff like that more. Except that it's like literally I would lose a day every I would do a day on, day off stream. Like it just
plan it
does
for
not
your
work for me.
plan it for your Saturdays, and then you've got your Sunday off.
True.
Sunday's
That's
just
my girlfriend to break up with me. Oh, on your day off, you're hungover all day. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah,
sweetheart.
sorry, Lady Drnkie, I did not mean to propose that plan. I apologize. I take it back.
She hates you. She's already giving me a side eye. She's not even in the house right now. I can just feel it. We've been together so long. We can feel someone. Like, I can feel her side eye from 2 states away. I know. Like,
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I think episode 1, 8 out of 10. I think is perfectly justified. I'm actually just gonna check the IMDb score on it, because like IMDb, like I don't really
you
like.
love IMDb.
I do, because it's end user, like it's the fans actually vote on it. Like Rotten Tomatoes that's kind of, in my eyes, is those ratings are all over the place, because it's all critical reviews, and you've got some old guy who doesn't even know who the fucking Winter Soldier is reviewing it. Like, I'm just like, you have no voice in my mind. Like, why are you even talking right now? That's like it's like me getting my dad to review the Justice League. It's like, you don't even know who's, like, he knows who Superman is, but he probably thinks that like Captain America's in the same universe. So, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm just your opinion doesn't matter to me. So yeah,
I gotta be honest. Oh,
go on. Sorry, I was just gonna say the show itself is sitting on an 8.6 at the moment with 3,900 reviews, which is kind of low. I would expect a lot more people to be reviewing it now. Which again, you can't review a show. So the first episode is sitting on an 8.3, which I think is a perfectly fair rating for the episode. I would agree with it.
You can't review a 1 hour show that fast, but somehow Snyder's Cut had 20,000 reviews for a 4 hour movie.
Well, it's
5 hours after it was released. Okay,
it's a film. It's that's it. It's one of one. It's done. What I'm saying is, this is a 6.
What's the Snyder Cut at right now?
The Snyder Cut is sitting on an 8.6 with nearly 70,000 reviews. So it's gonna stay at an 8. It'll stay in the 8s, which I think I'm gonna say is justified. It's a fantastic film.
It was a lot better, I'll say that.
Sam's wings already work as a bigger shield. That's fair enough. Are they made? They're not made of adamantium or whatever, are they? Or not?
No, I think
what's
they
it
kind of
called?
made a point of that in the episode where the guy was shooting at him, and didn't it go through his shield, or did that ricochet off of it?
I think it ricocheted.
And killed the pilot.
I think it ricocheted.
Okay.
Yeah, it ricocheted off it. But they're definitely not made of vibranium. Sorry, what did I say? Adamantium for? Did you see as well? There was a little at the very end of the episode. I caught this. Do you remember when Sam's on the phone and they're talking about the enhanced guy? And then your man's just like, you don't think he's one of them, do you? And then he just cuts him off. I listened to that and I was like, shit. Is he kind of getting at like mutants or something maybe? Because I know we all know the mutants are coming. We don't know where they're going to come from. But I kind of got a kind of mutant vibe off that conversation.
Well,
do you know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah. And I picked up on it two ways because like there was this is what probably it is, my sane sense, and then my other person that gets a little crazy because I'm really excited about the MCU. The first thing I thought was like Sam knows that he's a super soldier.
Yeah.
And that's only because we know we got Baron Zemo coming up later in the TV show. And he knows about that whole deal.
But he used all the serum though. The last of the serum was used on those soldiers, the last Winter Soldiers, and he killed all of them. So I don't know where the serum's coming from because the only other person that tried to create it was Bruce Banner, and obviously that went shit sideways. Like,
I mean, that's what they thought with Captain America. That was the whole plot of Civil War, right? It's like they thought Captain America was like the last super soldier, and then like there was all this other people with the serums in them.
Yeah, but again, that happened in the 90s, right? Like that was these guys were laying dormant. Like, so
we're talking about these governments, baby. They're siloing things off. You know what I mean? My presumption was the reason why the Starks got killed was because that was the last of the serum, and it was like that was the golden ticket, so that's why they needed to die for it, and that was kind of they robbed it, and then my other
go on
crazy, like this could be a person idea was that it might be a mutant.
Yeah.
And what a great way to introduce Sabretooth. Like the long hair.
Yeah.
The long hair, the bulkiness, throwing people around like they're nothing, dude.
Imagine his fingernails just started to grow or something. You'd be like, ah! I love it.
We know Wolverine's coming soon because isn't Wolverine, like someone Wolverine dated Venom, she's in this show too, right? I believe she was rumored in like the TikTok rumors.
I don't know. That's new.
TikTok rumors, bro. That's out of my league.
TikTok is like
you gotta get on TikTok, bro. You gotta get down here with us.
The Marvel TikTok rabbit hole, bro, is some of the deepest I've ever been in my entire life. Like, there's this guy called Soups. I don't know if you've seen him, Drnkie. I think I've sent him one of your. He's an Asian guy. He's always wearing like Superman t-shirts or.
Yeah,
you have to know him if you're down this rabbit hole with me, which I know you are.
I know their faces, not their name. Yeah. You know what I mean?
This guy though, he's so in there right now with Marvel that Disney sent him like a care package for the release of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like, that's how deep these guys are going. They're officially being like bribed by Disney to talk more about these shows because they have such a fucking big reach now. Like, that's where we are right now. That's how big TikTok is right now. That these guys...
We got to push Marvel to chat. We got to push Marvel.
Could you imagine Disney... Could you imagine Disney... Imagine, like, Disney get in touch. Guys, we need all your addresses. We're going to get a care package in for the season finale of Marvelous Chats with the Marvelous Chaps.
God, imagine.
Oh, it'd be incredible. It would be incredible.
All 5 people just sitting around a stage. We're just talking.
Yeah.
It's fun. Bob Iger's over there giving us high fives. It's nice.
Yeah. Kevin Feige, guest appearance from Kevin Feige himself.
He gives us a little attaboy, he's like, there you go, guys, get up there. Like, Kevin, stop, Kevin.
I told you, Kevin, stop touching my ass.
Oh my.
But no, like, look, I just think there's some great stuff coming with that show. And what's after? We've got Widow after that, right? And then Loki. I was trying to think. I was trying to think of the timeline just while I was watching it,
And then
I'm really upset about because I really think. Sorry to interrupt. I'm so upset about Widow because I just don't think I'm going to get a chance to see it in the theaters in this country. They're just not open. It's not like I know a lot of in the States, you know, a lot of people have the choice. You know, you take it upon yourself if you want to risk going to this theater, which I would personally. I'd go at like 10 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday. I'd take the day off work.
Gonna
or
risk
something.
it all.
I would risk it all to see it on fucking 200-inch screen, like. But I just won't have the chance to do it, and it'll be the first proper Marvel movie that I have seen that I have not gone to see in the cinema, and that upsets me, like, because I genuinely thought I would see every single movie in the cinema, like, and it's just this pandemic has broken the streak for me, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just painful. It's painful. But I'm looking forward to that movie. Like the trailers that I've seen for that look really good. I was looking at the timeline, and that like takes place before Endgame, so we're going back in time. So that's between, you know, the 5 years that they're kind of trying to deal with the blip. That's when that movie takes place. So it's between Infinity War and Endgame. So
wait, Black Widow's in the blip?
Yeah.
What?
Wait.
Yeah.
I thought it was before that.
No, it's between.
Oh.
So she goes off, and it's while obviously Cap is, you know, dealing with his grief, and Clint is off being Ronin and stuff like that. It's around that time frame that movie's going to take place. So
I thought they were gonna set it back like in the 90s or something. That's where I thought we were going.
Yeah, I thought so too.
no, it's between.
Hell yeah.
So I think there was a
I like that better.
There was a reference to it, I think, at the start of Endgame or something like that, where she was like, I had some shit to take care of, and I think she's referring to her music. Or to her movie. I refuse to watch trailers. My girlfriend's like that. Someone in my chat just says I refuse to watch trailers. I have to see the trailers. I need to kind of get a feel for it and just see what's coming. My girlfriend is like, ever since the Suicide Squad trailer, she's like, I don't watch movie trailers anymore. That trailer destroyed her belief in the movie industry, because that was one of the first trailer for that film, that Suicide Squad film. I remember watching that going, holy shit, this is going to be the greatest movie of all time. I just thought the trailer was incredible. All the characters, I just like, holy shit, everyone looked great. And I was like, this is going to be incredible. And then you watch that movie and you're like, oh my God, I've never been lied to like that in my life. Like, that was like the worst I've been lied to in my entire life.
They earned their money with that trailer. The people who made that, man, they earned their money. That thing was amazing.
Yeah. That was the biggest catfish in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right there.
I'm like, with trailers, I'll watch the first trailer for something because I want to see what the movie looks like.
Yeah.
I want to get a little bit of excitement from it, but then after that, I'm done. I watch the first one and that's it. Because after that, they just keep trying to dole out like more information and more information. Like, I don't need that. Like, I'm already committed.
Or they'll like just rejig the trailer and they'll give you 5 seconds of new footage, and then it's like, you know, second trailer, final trailer, and it's like, I've seen all this already, like, you know. Yeah. And like all the TV spots like get kind of crazy as well, like on like the week of a release or whatever. Like, you know, the way they do like a TV spot, and it's like TV spot 12, and I'm like, how much of this movie are they giving away now? Like, you know, I definitely don't watch the TV spots, like, that's for sure, because they give away way too much.
I hate like Twitter trending on the day something gets released, because something will be trending and they'll be like, oh, now I know they're going to be in the fucking thing, dude, because hashtag Captain Marvel's trending now, so I know that they're going to have to like everything ruins it for you now. Yeah,
I'll big time. Like, I have to have, especially when something comes out that I know is going to be talked about online. Like, so next week, for example, on Friday, I'll be working all day on Friday, so I kind of have to have a social media blackout on Fridays because I can't get the episode spoiled for me because I can't watch it because I'm working. So, you know, that always happens for me, and that was a big one with The Mandalorian as well. Like, I couldn't get that. I didn't want that spoiled on me, like, so I had to kind of step away from social media. I just can't get up early enough to watch it before work. Like, it's just not possible. Like, I'm up till 3 a.m. fucking gaming, and then I have to like try and get 6 hours, and then I have to work for 10 hours of the day. So I need my like 6 hours. So I can't justify getting up early to watch TV.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
I just can't. The grind is too real.
The grind.
Yeah. Circa
this
says
year's gonna be nuts though for MCU, right?
Yeah, like there's a lot going on. Like, obviously, we're going to be talking about Falcon for the next 6 weeks or another 5 weeks, and then you've got the Widow movie, and then you've got the Loki series, which I presume is going to be a minimum of 6 episodes, maybe more.
Yeah.
I don't know what it could be, 6, maybe 10. And then you've got Spider-Man at the end of the year as well. It's fucking crazy.
I think they're fitting in Shanghai and the Eternals this year between.
Wow, yeah, you're right.
All that.
Yeah, you're right. I think
we're just gonna be getting hit with stuff like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah,
you know?
It's incredible, and I think, you know, they're just making up for 2020 where literally nothing happened We got nothing.
Yeah.
And it's not like, I wasn't actually suffering too bad from it, I didn't really notice that it was too bad. But then you kind of, when you take a step back and think to yourself, like, hang on a second, like when I was rewatching the MCU, it's like 2016 Civil War, 17 Spider-Man, 18 Doctor Strange, 18 Ragnarok, 19 End War or Endgame and all. I'm like, what the fuck? We had like sometimes 2 movies a year. I was like, holy shit, like we were spoiled rotten and we didn't even know it, and they're definitely they're just back after that year off and they're just hitting it hard. They're hitting it hard.
Let's listen to this original. This is how it was originally supposed to be. Widow was supposed to be 2020.
Yeah.
Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to be fall of 2020. Eternals was supposed to be November of 2020.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi was supposed to be February 2021. Wanda was supposed to come out spring of 2021. And then on May 7th, like just around the corner, we were supposed to be watching Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness in about a month or 2 months from now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we're going to have to wait until like a whole year for Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
I can't wait for that movie.
A friend of mine said to me today as well, he was kind of like, big DC fan, he was kind of like to me like, oh, I'm so annoyed, that we didn't get the Snyder Cut originally instead of the Joss Cut. He's like, think about if that movie came out when it should have, we would probably be sitting down to watch the next one now, like, another Batman movie with Affleck, or, Justice League 2 or something like that. Yeah, it's crazy. COVID has completely fucked everything. Like, even that Batman movie was supposed to be out the end of last year, am I right? With the Robert Pattinson one? Was that supposed to be...
I don't know.
I think it was supposed to be either end of 2020 or early 21, I think. I think we were supposed to have seen it by now. But that's now moved till 2022.
That he got busted boning Zoe Kravitz on top of the Batmobile?
Oh my god, if that's true, that's incredible. He
That's
is.
the rumor
If that's true, he is Bruce Wayne.
And like got her pregnant.
Perfect.
Like that's the rumor, is that he knocked her up, boning her on top of the Batmobile.
Oh my god, I have
Which is like
the
best thing ever.
I have not read any of this, but this is already going to be the best movie ever.
Hey, yeah.
Like how great is that?
That's fucking insane. What the hell?
Did you watch the mini or the fan film for Batman? Easy to Die?
Mech sent it to me. I kind of scanned through it real quickly. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but it looks great. It looks like an Arkham game or something. Like, it looks crazy.
Yeah. Like there's some absolutely obviously bad moments in it because it's a fan film, right? But
Circa just said in my chat, when he came, he better have yelled, "I am Batman." I am vengeance.
Oh my god.
too good.
That's fucking excellent.
They're listening to like the old school Batman song. They're like,
Pow, bam.
So
Adam West Batman. Oh my god, the best Batman. That's
All right,
incredible.
Finto, let me hear about the Snyder Cut, baby.
Okay, so right, the Snyder Cut, in my eyes, is amazing, right? And the reason why it's amazing is because again, you're going to compare it to the Joss Cut, which made no sense. Like, the amount of times that me and my lady turned to each other and just said, why the fuck would Joss cut that scene from the movie? Like, and that happened every single time Cyborg was on the screen. Cyborg,
Yeah.
and I understand now, I used to read some of those Ray Fisher fucking interviews and stuff where he was going off on Warner Brothers and claiming all this crazy shit, and I was like, what's wrong with this guy? I didn't really understand. But after watching that cut of that movie, I am behind that guy 1000%. Warner Brothers and Joss Whedon fucked him severe. Like that, the treatment that he got in that Joss cut was dreadful. His character was destroyed. And just watching the Snyder Cut, I'm like, holy shit, I can understand exactly where Ray Fisher's coming from, and I fully support him in anything that he's saying, anything he's bad-mouthed about these people. Like, it's insane. I just don't understand how they could cut it. Like, everything about the movie, I loved the lighting that Snyder used was way better. He just made the movie just feel a lot grittier and darker. When you were seeing like Cyborg's, when you were living his memories, like the football game, the night, like the skies are all dark, but the snow is just so bright. Like, it was fucking stunning. It was art. It was art, man. You were looking at art.
Yeah, I don't think that there's many directors better than Zack Snyder when it comes to understanding color in a scene.
Yeah.
And like really like moving it and like using it to like really just showcase.
Yeah.
And like put you in like a different type of world, right? Like it looks different. It looks like a comic book, like a lot of like deep colors and like he's one of the best directors when it comes to I guess like color grading, I guess it would be. I don't know.
Even that scene, you know, where Diana goes to meet Cyborg and she's pulling up in the Mercedes, like just even the way that scene made that car pop, it was like it was jumping out of a page of a comic book. Like it's just beautiful. I had a friend of mine text me and he was like, bro, what's going on? Like he's like, the ratio's all fucked up. He's like, I think my TV's broken. And I was like, no, look, that's the way the director shot the movie. And, you know, I was like, don't worry about it. Just watch it. It looks fine. Like, but I'd say the amount of people that were like flicking through their TV frantically trying to change the aspect ratio for the, because it's just like the bars cut off and stuff like that. I thought that
I
was...
don't trust online ratings, Pinto.
What?
Yep.
That's why I don't trust online ratings.
Okay.
It's literally the first thing that comes up when you start the movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is how he wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Like
I thought
in that ratio.
That's the first time I've ever watched. I think it's like a 4:3 ratio. They say it is.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've ever watched a film like that at home with like the bars on the side.
Yeah.
Of course, we'd watch them with bars on top, like the letterbox stuff up on top and the bottom. But I've never seen them on both sides, and I loved it. Like I thought it absolutely worked. It felt unique, and it made the scenes even more better because of how much more you can actually see inside of the scene. Like it looked gorgeous, man.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It looked like it looked a bit strange for on my TV when I was watching it, and I killed the lights in the room, and it looked so good. Like I've got that red light behind the TV, and just with the box, it just looked beautiful. I just like even just I don't know, man. There's so much more about the film that I enjoyed than the original cut. It's just not even funny.
Mm-hmm.
I hated Aquaman in that first film. Like he just came across like such a fucking idiot. I didn't like him at all. Whereas like in this one, there was like more of a kind of Nordic vibe off him, and you know, with like all the people like worshiping him like a god and everything. Like I just think the story was just told so much better. And then like, you know, obviously Superman was resurrected correctly and the black suit was incredible. I loved how I loved this Barry Allen story. I thought that he needed a lot more depth for people who aren't the fans of the Flash. Flash is one of my favorite superheroes, so you know I'm tired of hearing the story at this stage. But I think for fans who don't know who the Flash is, that like the Joss cut like was horrendous for him. Like you know, that line where he's like, you know, I've never fought anybody before, I just kind of push people and run away. Like he's just made like come across like this pussy, like, and it's just like in the Snyder cut he's doing all these like quick like dodges which would be nothing to him. It's like him taking a step to the left, step to the right. It's like, you know, it's child's play for him, but he's like beating the shit out of people. Like I just thought it was just done so much better. The fact that he rewound time, that blew my mind. I loved that. There was none of that in the Joss cut at all. Like the box, like Joss changed that entire scene. Like he had Barry hit it at the right time, and it just, you know, I don't know. I just thought it was better for the character because he's a new Flash, so he's still learning all of his powers. I thought it was just better that he missed it, but he ran fast enough to kind of rewind time a bit and fix it. And then obviously the big reveal at the end as well, like, was obviously incredible with the he actually ran back in time, which was incredible. You know, he's like, break the rule, go back in time, and he stopped the mother boxes from forming all together. I thought that was fucking beautiful. Like I loved it.
It was.
Oh, it was fantastic. Like the Martian Manhunter scene, I screamed. I actually was just like, yes! I couldn't believe it. That was such a shock. I just didn't see it coming. Like the fact that he was the general the entire time, I'm like, oh my god, he's been around for so long. I love John Jones, like the Martian Manhunter. I love him as a character. He is one of the founding members of the Justice League, so you know it makes sense that he's there in that film. Again, not even a mention of him in the Joss cut. I just like even like little dialogue things that they changed with between the Flash and between Ben Affleck and everything, it was just like, I'm like, you know, even just the dialogue that Josh used was awful, and it just made a lot more sense. The one thing I will say about the Joss cut, that I did enjoy, that I actually liked, was he did bring a bit of a more of a kind of comedic vibe to the Flash, and the Flash is quite funny. I loved the bit in the Joss cut where, you know, where he sees the Batcave for the first time, and he's just like, oh my god, and he gets so excited, and he's just like, and he shoots around, he's looking at everything, and then he like ends up in the Batmobile, and he's like, this is so cool. That was one thing I think that I know Zach said he wouldn't use a frame at all from Joss, but I think if that was kept in the movie, that would have been great. Like, that was a very funny moment, but I think Zach he's not a big fan of capturing that much comedy, so I obviously see why he didn't use it, but there were a couple of funny Flash moments in the movie, but just like, even I don't know, I could talk all day about this. Like, the Amazons, their story was told a lot better. We saw a lot more of Themyscira, or whatever, how you pronounce the name of the place. I just love all the Amazons, man. Like I love like strong women. Like, I just think that's just amazing, you know. And I just loved seeing more of them, you know. Just like when they were like breaking the walls down to try and like trap Steppenwolf in that building and stuff. Like, it was just all of them sacrificing themselves and all. It was incredible. And a lot of them are like real like CrossFitters and stuff like that. Like, they're all like actual beasts, like beast women in real life. So I love all that Amazon shit.
Yeah, we work together.
Yeah, I just love all that Amazon shit. I really do. Yo, T-Fire, take it easy. But I just think, like, what else as well? I loved the whole like Darkseid thing. Obviously, I don't know why Darkseid wasn't used in the Joss cut at all. Like, there wasn't a frame of him, wasn't even a mention of him. But I just loved his story in it. Was just like a real like story, like it was a real plot like shift change, if that makes sense. Because, like, you know, Steppenwolf is, you know, he's like a soldier basically, you know, and I just think he was made come across as the big bad in the Joss cut, and I just love how he's not at all a threat, really. Like, I know he's a badass, but it's just like, you know, he's just a servant, like. And I just thought that him going in and just like making a mess of the Amazons and stuff, but you just know that Darkseid's coming. Like, it's like you're dealing with one of Thanos's little like minions or whatever. And I just thought it was just done really well, to the fact that, I don't know, like, I'm trying to I don't know, like, I just think the way that Zach did it, I think, is nearly him kind of just going, I think it's him kind of poking fun at the Joss cut a little bit. I know he said he didn't see it, but I think he did. I think that's a lie that he didn't see it. There's no way.
He's watched it a couple of times.
He's watched it. He has. He says he's never seen it. I don't believe him at all. But I think
he probably gets drunk and like hate watches it, you know.
Yeah,
I'd have done this so much better.
Yeah, no, I don't for a second believe that he didn't watch that. But I just think that the way that he structured that movie was kind of a fuck you to them. Like, just kind of like, look, this is how you do it. Yeah, like, like, even just like the scenes with like Zeus and stuff, I just love how all that was done. And I just love the pacing of it. I just thought, like, you know, we were still with the Amazons like 40 minutes into the movie, and it didn't feel like it was being dragged out, for me anyway. I don't know, I can't speak about other people, but for me, I was relished in every minute of it. Like, I didn't think that it was like overplayed or anything like that. Like, I was fully invested in it. I was fully in the ride. Like, yeah, it was just nuts. I loved the whole how they brought the lanterns into it and stuff like that. Like, I know that was kind of touched on a little bit in the Joss cut as well. There was like a couple of frames of a lantern, but I just liked the way that they did it. The way Zach did it, he kind of made it feel like that they've been around. Like, he made them kind of feel part of the movie, where even though it was only for an extra minute or something like that, you know. Yeah, I don't know. And again, Ben Affleck was 10 times better in it. I just love how he was kind of made a little more super. I think Joss made him appear weak. Like, you know, he gets thrown around in the Joss cut, and, you know, he's battered and bruised, and he's limping around the place and all. And while I have kind of pros and cons with that, I do like the idea of him being portrayed as a human, because obviously he is a human, but at the same time, he's Batman, so he shouldn't be showing weakness, you know what I mean? So I kind of see a pro, like, for and against it. But I kind of liked in the Joss cut where he showed him kind of where he was taking the suit off and he was all bruised and stuff. I think it kind of just displayed that he was human at the end of the day and he's getting thrown around by gods, you know. But then at the same time, in this cut, you don't see any of that, and he just kind of changes suit in the background, and you know he's got this like metal suit on. Now, in the Joss cut, you know why he put the metal suit on. He needed more armor because he was injured. Whereas in this one, it's just kind of just pushed off. And I kind of see the pros and cons for that. I suppose I don't know which one is better storytelling, to be honest, but I suppose
they're probably about the same, right? Like there's probably like a trade-off, like you're saying. Yeah, I would have to say for me overall this movie, and I don't mean to come in here and rate on DC Snyder Cut fans thing, because I'm happy that you guys are loving it so much. I really am. But like I come from this place from like a weird angle, because one, I'm not the most knowledgeable DC person, right?
Circa, I love that line, dude. He's like, yeah, what's your powers? I'm rich.
I did see the Josh cut, and if you were to ask me
Yo, Festa,
to
what's up,
rate
dude?
this
How are
movie
you?
after seeing the Josh cut, this is like
Andy,
a
I'll read that
7
comment
out of
in a
10
second.
movie,
Sorry,
right?
it's
Like
a
an
long
8
one.
out of 10. But if I were to just to watch this thing, if I was to watch the Snyder Cut without seeing, if this was like the only movie, this would be a 6 out of 10 for me. And I say that because I see the improvements from the Josh Cut, and the story makes sense, and everything everything works better in the Snyder Cut than it did in the Josh's Cut. But this thing is like 32 different short stories just strung together one after another with very few thread lines going through to them. It's more of a, we got to do this next. All right, this is happening next. This is happening next. Instead of, me and, Wonder Woman, we heard about this guy who's Aquaman, and now there's going to be something that leads us there, instead of Bruce Wayne just landing down in the snowy place and being like, I'm looking for Aquaman. And then him just ending up in Central City. I'm looking for the Flash. Or Wonder Woman ending up there and being like, I need to find Cyborg. Instead, it's just, there's nothing that leads them to there together. There's no narrative that really, I think, strings that together and pushes them to a place where it's like they naturally are there looking for that because they need something. Like this movie has nothing but MacGuffins, man, where it's like, we need to...
Sorry, wasn't that story all started in Batman vs. Superman, though? This is just a continuation of Batman vs. Superman.
What was started, like...
So, in Batman vs. Superman, basically, he finds the tapes of the metahumans, and one of them is Aquaman, the other one is the Flash, the other one is Cyborg, and the other one is Wonder Woman. So he basically cracks Wonder Woman first, finds her, and then she starts working with him. They're watching the tapes together, and then they see these three people. They watch the tapes of them, and then basically the Justice League, the rest of Batman vs. Superman happens, the fight with Doomsday happens, Superman dies, and then the end of that movie is Bruce at Clark's funeral, and he says to him, I have to bring us all together, I feel like something bigger is coming, and then we're going directly into Justice League. So that's what you got to do, I think, to get the full effect of that movie is you have to go back, and I know you're not going to do this, but you have to go back and watch Batman vs. Superman, because that is basically Infinity War, and Justice League is Endgame, you know?
Yeah.
But this is like a team building thing, right? Where they're getting the team together. And now let's go back and look at another one of, and this is just weird, just kind of the way it works out. It's just a John Whedon film, the first Avengers movie, where they're putting the team of the Avengers together, right?
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of story elements that weave together a tight narrative, where they go and they capture Loki, right? And so now they're transporting Loki, and then Thor shows up there because he wants Loki. That's his brother.
Yeah.
And that brings it together in a flow. And then they get Loki into the onto the airship, and then the Hulk thing like starts to happen where he gets mad. It's like they have a lot of these plot elements that are rolling together, and it's more of a domino effect versus Snyder's cut, like the Justice League movie, where it's like they got 32 separate dominoes set up and they're just flicking them one at a time, versus a good, I think, narrative story that's kind of like where you knock one thing over and then it starts a sequence of things happening together that flow. That's kind of my problem with this, is I felt there was just a bunch of different short stories jumbled together. Like, oh, here's the Flash out in Central City. Let's watch him save a girl. All right, boom. Let's go watch a scene with the Cyborg who's there sitting getting mad at his dad or whatever. Like, it's just a bunch of different stories thrown together.
Yeah, I agree, and I just think like the way that DC have decided to do it, and it's difficult for them as well because you have Superman and Batman, who are probably the two most famous superheroes of all time. Like, and their stories have been told so many fucking times, that and they've been retold so many times that does Snyder need to do another telling of Batman? No, he doesn't actually need to. Does he need to do another telling of Superman? No, but they did Man of Steel, which is technically the start of this Snyderverse. So you got to think that the Man of Steel is Iron Man, basically, right? And then where Marvel went and go, okay, no one knows who the fuck Thor is unless you read comic books. No one knows who the fuck Captain America is unless... Captain America, obviously people do. I knew who he was. Did I ever watch anything of him? No, I'm being honest, I didn't. When I was a kid, I watched Spider-Man and I watched X-Men. And the MCU didn't have X-Men. So I did... or Spider-Man. So, I didn't know who Iron Man was back in the day in 2007 when that trailer first got released. I knew who the guy was. Did I know his real name? No, I knew nothing about Tony Stark. I knew who the Hulk was, obviously. And again, that's another one that kind of just got regurgitated. And I suppose if you're breaking it down like that, Bruce Banner was just thrown into the MCU kind of the same way as Cyborg or the Flash has just been thrown into this universe. Like, you're just expected to know who they are. You're expected to know the story. We never saw Mark Ruffalo's character.
Movie.
Yeah, but we like that movie. I don't see it as canon. Like, it's a different actor. I know technically it is the same thing, but I don't I don't see it as part of the actual story. I know, again, and it doesn't need to be. I think that's why they didn't go back and retell it or do flashbacks or anything like that, because they don't need to. And I think that's the same kind of deal with DC. I just think a lot of people know who Batman and Superman are. We don't need to go back and tell those stories. Yes, we needed a story on Cyborg because nobody really knows about him, and now we have it. I believe that now we have that story. The Flash is, again, getting his own movie. He's probably been brought into it prematurely. I don't think, like, he doesn't have his own movie or anything. Again, most people watch the Flash TV show. It's a massive TV show. People know the Flash from that. Ezra Miller has actually been in that TV show as the Flash. Like, they actually had a crossover. It was incredible. So I just think if you're a big DC fan, and I know you're probably trying to talk generally, like, to the average fan, not like a comic book nerd, but I don't know. I just think I thought it was very well put together. I thought it was very well, like, the story structure worked. I thought it was brilliant. I didn't see it the way you're describing it. I didn't see it like that. Now, obviously, that's me because I read all the comic books and I'm a big fan. As a normal fan, I do see where you're coming from, but I just think that, if you're trying to compare it to Marvel, it's not a very fair comparison because Marvel have had 24 or 25 films or whatever it is, and they've been working on this for 50 or 10, 11, 12 years or whatever it is, 13 years.
Well, I'm not necessarily trying to compare it to Marvel specifically. I'm just using Marvel because it came to my mind because we're talking about comic books.
Of course.
Is that, and like a lot of movies do a jump cut to a scene where it's a brand new scene and like where you catch us up and then we go through the scene. But where a lot of movies only do that like 2 or 3 times, it felt like Justice League did that the entire movie. And here's to me, you didn't need to have all these little this was a complete, and it's partly because this is a love letter to the fans because the fans are the ones that got this thing going, right?
Yeah.
But when you do a scene where it's like, all right, now Marvin the Manhunter, who or the Martian the Manhunter, I know the name, but I don't really know the character. And then he shows up and I'm like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Is that guy important? Like, he's a fucking alien looking dude who just hung out with Lois Lane for a hot second. And then they just we're off to something else.
Yeah.
There's moments like that that's just like,
that was what? That and again, I think that was put into the movie with hopes, and I think this is a lot of people are thinking there has to be more now because you can't just drop him in there and then just be like Zack Snyder be like, see you later, lads, I'm off.
WB will be like, the WB will be like, later, lads.
Yeah.
Thanks for the money. See you around on the next movie. Bye-bye.
Yeah, no, I think the Martian Manhunter is a massive character, to answer your question, but he is
I
like.
do think this can be a fault against the movie that where like Marvel had like 20 movies to set up the big get together.
Yeah.
That can be a fault of the movie because it's trying to bite off more than it can chew.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder as a director said, "Give me 4 hours and I can do this." And like, did he do that? Did he accomplish it? He did. It just can't really be done in 4 hours. And so why I don't, I can see your point where it's like you can't really knock a film for that. I can knock it in my mind because it's a film. It's supposed to be a complete experience that we sit down and enjoy from front to back, regardless of the circumstances that come before it. Like this is their job, is to deliver a movie, and that's what I that's all that matters to me. And like if I don't know anything else that's going on, I know I pick this up at the store, I pick up a DVD and I put it in and I watch 4 hours of something, and I don't think they accomplished what they thought they could do. I think they accomplished if something.
If you had,
I don't think they got it all the way.
If you hadn't like seen any of the other Marvel movies and you started at Infinity War, I suppose you would probably feel the same, because you'd be like, who the fuck is this guy? Who's that? All that sort of thing. I think you need to think of this as this is the third movie in the trilogy. Like this is Zack's trilogy. Like this is the end of. But
I've seen the other two.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like again, for me, I didn't have those questions about the Flash or about Cyborg or any of these people, because to me that mission had started in the previous movie where he was going to recruit these people. So I didn't, when the movie started and he ended up looking for Arthur Curry, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, because this is what he's doing. He's recruiting the team. He's putting them together. This is what they talked about in the previous film, So, and I just thought that
was just a small point to like kind of like illustrate that I feel like that type of thing. Where it's just like it comes to something goes on the entire movie. Every scene feels like we jump to a new scene and they're starting it, versus something that kind of flows together from start to end. And that was just my thought going through it. It's like it felt like a bunch of short stories all put together.
Yeah. Like I suppose, and like I think that's how it was meant to be, as far as I know. That's why it was kind of, and I thought it was very clever how he labeled it, part 1, part 2, part 3. I kind of pictured that as a paperback. If you're reading like a paperback of a comic book, like you've got part 1, part 2, part 3, then you get
this movie should have been 2 parts. What's he talking about? There's supposed to be a part 2. If he would have left this movie, like if the first part of this movie, right, he should have done this in 2 parts and just made it work. Where it should have been the whole lead up to where they get Superman back alive, and then they go fight Steppenwolf, and then boom, end of a movie. That's that. And then Steppenwolf gets thrown back to Darkseid, whatever happens with them, and then Darkseid's this villain in the next movie. Because it feels like this movie just kind of like restarts itself halfway through after that scene in Gotham Harbor, right? Or not, or after that, after they get Superman, the film kind of restarts itself and like, all right, we're going to do this again. Where that really feels like it could have been just a separate movie where now you get to set it up with like the team's already together. We're going to do this stuff and like off we go. I also was confused by Aquaman in this one. Like I thought he was a lot better character. That is one thing I will say about this, is that every character makes sense now. Every character has stakes. Every character has a complete arc, where before people didn't even get characters or written in. They felt like their arcs were left hanging. Everyone made a lot of sense in this. Like everyone had a complete, started off from this, had a journey and came to like a really good place. But one thing that really confused me is like, wasn't the Aquaman movie about Aquaman like returning to his people and like taking on the mantle of Aquaman and being the fighting dude
again,
and then we just do it again in this movie? But like, what happened?
This is the this is the confusion though. This takes place before Aquaman, exactly. This is the confusion.
Takes place before it.
So this movie, you got to think about this movie as being released the same day as the original Justice League was released, because this is just his version of that movie, if that makes sense. The Aquaman movie technically takes place after the Snyder Cut. Same with...
I thought William Dafoe looked so much older in this one with like the long gray hair than he did in the Aquaman movie.
Yeah,
he looked younger in that one.
But most of his scenes from that Aquaman movie are actually flashbacks. It is very confusing. It is very confusing. I think to get the full effect of the Snyder Cut, you actually probably need to go back and watch these movies again now after this, which again, I'm not going to do. I have no interest in watching Aquaman. I have no interest in watching Wonder Woman 84 ever again. It was dreadful. But I think...
still need to see it.
Oh, Jesus, Bronxiee. Like, especially after watching the Snyder Cut, I think the Snyder Cut like saves Diana as a character. Wonder Woman is a badass again. Like, you know, whereas like there was such a sour taste in my mouth from '84 with that character. She was awful, and like maybe my kind of saving grace to the character going forward is to just think that maybe, okay, you know, in the 40s she was herself in the first movie, in the 80s maybe she's still kind of learning her powers and stuff like that, so then by the time Snyder Cut comes around she's at full power and she's her badass self, and then if they go forward again with her, she can just continue from the Snyder Cut now, you know, they can just continue develop that character and just fucking retcon the rest, baby. Gone. Good luck. Get out of my face.
And it was like Wonder Woman in 1984 to the one lady, the cat lady. It's like, accept who you are. Just be happy with what you got. And then this one, like Wonder Woman in Snyder's Cut to the little girl. You can be whatever you want. Like, you can be whatever you want.
I love that line. I love that line where she says that to that little girl, though. Like, it's just incredible.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's incredible. Like, it's just,
it was a great superhero moment. Like, it wasn't heavy-handed. It was like, hey, you can be whoever you want, kid.
Yeah, I love that. Like,
fly away.
That's how you, like, in my eyes, that's how you empower women and stuff like that. Like, shit like that, like, is just incredible. I love that stuff. Yeah, I just think, you know, the Snyder Cut again. Yeah, it's and the way we've just had this conversation, I think it perfectly describes how confusing DC are right now, because, you know, you're seeing a movie in 2021 that technically takes place in 2016 because it's just a recut of an original movie. It's all over the place. It is all over the place. Yeah. Like, most of Willem Dafoe's scenes, and I thought the exact same thing as you. I was like, he looks way older. Obviously, they brought him back for reshoots. By the looks of it, he was part of that 30 million reshoot. But yeah, like, he looks way younger in the Aquaman movie. But I think they CGI'd the shit out of him because he was meant to be. It was meant to be as Arthur was coming up in training, and then he leaves. He says, "Fuck it." When his dad dies, he's like, "I'm out of here. Forget it."
Oh, that makes sense.
And then they're trying to get him back because they're like, "You're the rightful king." Blah blah blah. You know, so it's actually to make the most sense out of that character. I think you would need to go and watch Aquaman next. But that movie is really bad, so I wouldn't do it. You know, so it's a tough one. Like, it really is. I just think, and like a lot of people are saying, you know, this has like properly kind of like re-injected the Snyder verse or whatever. But I just think, like, you need to kind of, there's a lot of work to be done. But I think if they were to do it, it could really turn into something amazing. I
don't think that they're gonna make that jump though because of J.J. Abrams. I don't think that Zack Snyder has the swing and the heat to get the rest of his movies made that he wants for this and keep this whole thing going, because J.J. Abrams is going to want to come in. This is his baby now. Anything that comes out DC now in the movie theater is J.J. Abrams as a producer. Yeah. And if it's not part of his universe, he doesn't want it out there. I truly believe that's how it's going to work. Like, that's how Hollywood to me works, where it's like people have power and they're very protective of what's theirs. And like, Warner Brothers just spent all this money to bring J.J. Abrams in to ruin another franchise. And by golly, they're gonna fucking do it.
Like JJ is not on a good streak. Like, you know, he didn't do good things for Star Wars. He didn't do what else did he do recently?
Star Trek.
Star Trek. Well, that wasn't too bad, to be honest. I'm not a big Star Trek fan. And I
haven't watched it.
I like his movies. Like, they're good. Like, again, I'm not really a massive fan, so I'm watching them as a standard viewer, if that makes sense. And, you know, they look beautiful. I like Chris Pine as an actor. You know, I love what's his name, who plays Spock, who was in Heroes. I can't think of his name right now. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
I love him. Zachary Quinto. I love him.
Quinto.
Yeah, he's a legend. He's an absolute legend. But I just think, like, you know, I think DC have a really tough call right here, because from my understanding of it, the JJ thing is actually going to be a spin-off. It's not. The Snyder Cut is still intact from what I've heard. That basically there is plans to do more for Zack. There's a plan to keep Ben on. Yeah, there's a plan to keep Ben on. They're going to do another Justice League movie, potentially go into an Injustice storyline, and then they run JJ's stuff separately. with a black Superman who exists in the same timeline and universe as Henry Cavill, so we will have two Supermen on the screen. And I think that's kind of just, it's a kind of more of a nod to Superboy / Superman sort of thing. I think that's the way they're trying to do it. And then I think what will probably happen is there'll be an event where Cavill will die or something like that, or he'll step away, he'll hang the cape up, and then this black Superman takes over. And as well, what I heard was Snyder said in an interview that his original plan for Justice League 3, which would probably be in fucking production now if COVID didn't happen and all of his personal stuff never happened, his plan was to kill Ben Affleck in Justice League 3. So I think at the end of like the Nightmare, like Injustice kind of storyline, I know in the comic books that Bruce Wayne dies and Nightwing takes over as Batman. So I know there's been talks of a Nightwing movie, and there's all this fucking stuff that's been in the air for years now. I just think
I'd be shocked. I would hope to be. I would love to be wrong. I would just be shocked. You know what I mean? Because I just thought the Snyderverse, I thought it was all dead until we got the Snyder Cut. But even with the Snyder Cut, I thought it was set up to be like, this is it. This is like the send off to the Snyderverse, and then we're done.
Yo, Cookie, what's up, dude?
That's my impression. I don't know.
I don't think that's what's happening. I think it's this is, as I know there was plans for Justice League 2, Justice League 3, and I think the success of this movie, I know Snyder had said in an interview that he didn't want to do it, but then at the same time he had said, if they asked me to come back, I will do it. So
yeah,
I think it's all there. It's all possible.
It is possible.
Unleashed. What's up, dude?
I just hope if they go forward with the next one, and like, there's a lot of really cool stuff in it. I think Zack Snyder is great at making moments. Some of these like big emo music, operatic moments that, like, you know, for some reason in Aquaman they just start playing music and then he's at the sea, like going into the sea, and that's all we're just there to experience that. That's cool. I really like that Zack Snyder. And this is a problem I've had with a lot of movies where it doesn't feel like
thank you so much for the 8 months, my dude.
Of a scene anymore. I think Zack Snyder lets us do that. He lets us sit there with the Amazons for a minute. He lets it hang. He lets things breathe. Yeah. And I love that. It's just, let's limit the scope of that. So when we have those scenes, the rest of the, it's still a 2-hour movement or whatever. And I think this Justice League, like what he did, where he leads up to Darkseid, like whatever, like I don't know where he wants to take this thing, but where this movie is and where it could have gone a little bit after it is like Lord of the Rings, right? Where it's a big 3-part epic, but it's a well-structured epic. It's one where people go on journey. It's like, if you start Lord of the Rings, you're with the hobbits from when they're in the at the Shire, all the way to the mountain, right? And with you go on that journey with them. You just don't they just don't jump around everywhere. Like you go on this path with them. And I think that's doable if you're trying to make a smaller movie, split it up. Like, here's a 2-hour movie. We're going to go from here to here, walk you with the characters, and really get you to love these characters and still be on a path with them, instead of where I felt like they were trying to get you to like a lot of different characters really fast, and they did that with them separately and then brought them together.
I would love to have seen Snyder's original cut, if that makes sense. His original theatrical release, I think, would have been 3 hours. You would have cut out a good bit of stuff. Probably a lot of the Amazon stuff might have been cut back in preparation for what would have been most likely a better Wonder Woman 2 movie, because he probably would have written it. I just think the universe is tainted. It's tainted, and I think what he just wanted to do was, Warner Brothers gave him $30 million and said, okay, just release what you wanted to release. And I think his original plan was to release it as a 4-part miniseries. And that's why it went on for so. It was supposed to be 4 1-hour segments, and I think if you watch that in 4 1 hours, your mind would melt. I think it would be incredible, in 4 1 hours. And I think I saw some people were kind of breaking it down, the best kind of watch orders and stuff like that. I haven't really looked into it because I just knew I was going to go into it all in. I think if you watch the first 3 parts, then take a break, watch parts 4 and 5, and then watch 6 and 7 or 6 and epilogue or whatever, I think that's the best way to do it. But I just, I think, look, I really love what he did. I can't, in my eyes, I can't fault the film. Jared Leto was my least favorite part of that entire thing, to be honest.
Oh, it was so bad.
I just don't.
Terrible.
I hate his Joker. I just, I don't know what he's doing. Like, he's a good actor. I just don't understand why he's putting on that voice. The laugh is horrendous. I was like, the makeup is better.
He got a second chance here.
Yeah, the makeup is better. At least he's gotten rid of all those stupid tattoos, and he doesn't look like a reject gangster now. I don't know what they were trying with that. That was horrendous.
Way better than Suicide Squad. Way better.
That wouldn't. So I would. I've never acted a day in my life. I would have done a better role than the fucking Suicide Squad Joker. To be fair, and I've never acted in my life. But I just don't know. Like, his laugh is just really awkward, and I actually laughed. I was watching it and I was physically laughing, like, when I was watching it, because I'm laughing at Jared Leto, like, I'm just like, what are you doing, bro? Like, if you've seen, he's a good actor. Like, I've seen him in some good stuff. Like, I just don't know why he's doing that.
I don't think I have.
Have you seen? No. He did a good one with Nicolas Cage. What was the film called? Warlords or God of War or something? Lord of War. And
that's fine.
Leto. I think it's called God of War. I can't remember. Or Lord of War or something like that. He's basically an arms dealer, but his little brother is Jared Leto in the movie, and he's a big cokehead, and he just plays a great character in that film. His band is great too, yeah. And he says, reduce the slow-mos, and I agree. It got... I don't know why Snyder does this. Like, I loved all the Amazon music while we were on the island. It was great. Yeah. But he brings the music back every time fucking Wonder Woman gets on the screen, and it's just like, it becomes a bit much, like, where she's like trying to attack Steppenwolf, and like you hear the screaming music coming in as she's like, you're slow-moing on her face. I'm just like, we get it. She's a good-looking woman. Like, you don't need to do this to her. Let her fight. Like, just fucking let her kick ass. Like, I think they're just trying to emphasize her beauty too much or something. I don't know what he's trying to do when he's doing that, but it's just the music for me. It got a bit much. I love the music, but it was just, if you took it out of those end fight scenes and had it at the beginning of the movie, like the way most movies, when a character comes in, you'll always kind of notice they have their kind of team tune, like, Star Wars,
like a motif.
Yeah,
right?
Star Wars always does it. Like, there's the Rey fucking music, there's the Kylo music, but as the movies go on, it's always for the intro of the character. Like, one thing that I'll say about the sequel trilogy of Star Wars is I hate those movies, but Kylo Ren's intro is fantastic. Like, when he's coming down onto that planet and he freezes the blaster bullet, and like the music is just gripping. Like, it's phenomenal. Like that, and I think that's what he was trying to do with that music, and I think it worked at the beginning of the movie. It really worked for the Amazons. I was really feeling
again and again.
Yeah,
and
he just overdid it. It was like every single time she was on screen, you just hear the woman's voice screaming. It's like, ah, in the background. Like, I'm just like, oh, here we go again. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? It's just it just kept coming
really
in.
Shows the genius of like the masters of scoring a movie.
Yes.
Who use the sounds that are similar, but like don't turn it up to a 10. They kind of have like the little notes at a 5, like do do do. Yeah. But this guy, it's like every time the one character on the screen, it's like fucking 10. 10. Like, well, like, he's just a rookie. Yeah. He's a rookie at movie music. And
yes. Well, like, you've got John. Star Wars have John Williams, like, you know what I mean. He's one of the best ever. So he's gonna know how to do it. But I just think you're dead right. The Wonder Woman music was definitely too much. That's one thing I really didn't like about it.
One thing I will say too about because you brought up kind of how they just kept showing her face like she's a beautiful woman. I think this movie kind of also shows just how much of a fucking hack Joss Whedon can be sometimes. Yeah. When it comes to like making jokes at like women's expenses, and like the scene that where that was awkward, where Flash like fell on Wonder Woman. It's like awkward sexual tension. And then like here's Batman making an awkward sexual joke at Wonder Woman in the first one. And like like Zack Snyder takes all that out.
Yeah.
It's like that's
Yep.
not
Get
part of
rid
this
of
movie.
it. Get rid of it.
You don't need it.
And I saw
Like-
I saw someone had pointed out that those jokes that Joss used as well were just regurgitated bullshit from the first Avengers movie and the second one. It was just stuff that he had used before. Like it was like Bruce falling on top of Natasha in Ultron. It's the exact same scene.
Yeah.
Like so, he's just taking shit jokes from one movie. And just because that movie sold $600 million, he's like, oh, fuck it, we'll throw it in there as well. It'll be grand. Yeah, we want to see someone fall on her tits as well. Like, you know, it's just stupid. It's so stupid.
And I think it's very revealing, too, that this is something I would have to go back to, like, kind of double check on this. And this is way more research than I'm willing to do for this movie. But most of the scenes that I really liked from the original Justice League were Zack Snyder scenes to begin with.
Oh,
because
yes.
Zack Snyder didn't use anything that Joss Whedon made, right?
There is not one frame of Joss's movie in that Snyder Cut. Yeah.
So the only things that I like from the original Justice League are probably Zack Snyder scenes.
Yes.
That Joss Whedon like cut in and out of on. Like so I'm just like, that's very revealing.
Yes.
Very revealing.
I love the first Avengers movie. Like I think Joss Whedon did a really good job of that film. I just don't understand how somebody who can make that movie make the Justice League. Like I truly believe that there was some sort of fucking sabotage, like Disney going, here's a couple of mil, slide that in your arse pocket there and just fuck up this film for us, will you? Like seriously, like I think there's something going on.
I think it's really hard. Like one, I think Joss Whedon probably just knows how to handle Marvel-like characters better than DC characters. Where I think Joss Whedon was really trying to turn DC characters into Marvel ones and make them kind of feel relatable and like, oh, look at all these little jokes. Whereas Zack Snyder's like, these are gods. Like these are literal gods who don't care what they're doing around them. Yeah. Like they got something to get done and they're gonna get it done. Yeah. And that's what matters and it's huge and big.
Yeah.
I also think that Joss Whedon's task, probably he doesn't get any credit for taking a 4-hour movie and trimming it down into a 2-hour cut that actually works. Like if you took Zack Snyder's Justice League cut he just did and just cut scenes out to try and get down to 2 hours, there's no way you can do it. There's no way you can do it.
Yeah.
But what Joss Whedon was able to do was take that 4-hour film or whatever it was, how he had to work with, take this long ass film, take it down to 2 hours, and then create new scenes to kind of bridge those gaps where they wouldn't line up because of all the cutting that you did.
There's a lot of Joss's movie that isn't in it though. There's a lot there. Like I think Joss did shoot a lot, and I was even noticing scenes that were in the Joss cut, but the dialogue was completely different. So they must have been shot a number of ways. And then Joss said, I'll take this one. And then Zach was like, oh no, I wasn't going to use that. I'm going to use this. Like, so even like a lot of the scenes where they're standing around, you know, when they're standing around talking about resurrecting Superman, like that scene was in both films, but it was two completely different scenes with two completely different directions. And I was really blown away by how that can be done. Like I just, you know, I was just blown away by it, like, you know, because I'd seen the Joss cut of the Justice League probably 2 or 3 times, like since it's been released. I watched like there was like an ultimate cut or something of it. I was like, I'll check it out, like, and it was a bit better, but it just wasn't what it was. And even when you look at the posters for the film, Joss's one is all colorful and it looks like a Marvel movie, and that doesn't work. And you know, you look at Zack's and it's black and white and it's just raw, like, you know, it's good, like it's great. It's just, I don't know. I was just blown away by what Zack did for that film. Like, you know, I just think, and just the fact that, like, you know, from a personal level, like his tragedy that he went through, like just the fact that he got to go back and finish that movie when it was taken away from him and butchered by the fucking studio and by Joss Whedon. Probably not back. You know, I'm only joking when I say it was done intentionally, but you know, I just, the fact that he got to go back and do that, and you know, at the very end he, you know, says it's for his daughter and stuff, you know, it's just that truly hit me. That hit me like hard, like, because I'm just like, it's magic, like it really is, like it's a true love letter to DC fans, to Hollywood. Like, when have you heard of a film that flops in the fucking box office that gets to go back, gets another 30 million thrown at it and gets fixed? Like, whether you liked it or not, the movie was fixed. Like, it was told the right way, it was told the way it was intended. It was, in my eyes, 20 times better than Joss's cut. And
It was.
you know, it's just it's magical to see that has actually happened. Like, you know, I just love it.
Yeah, and definitely doesn't happen without HBO Max.
Yeah.
Like, I know that we're all like, the fans made this happen. HBO Max really needed something to make it like pop. Like back before this Warner Brother deal even happened, where they were like, we're gonna be this, back before COVID was a thing, and you know, WB had to put all their movies onto HBO Max. This is from a time where like HBO Max just needed something, and they're like, we're gonna fund the Snyder's Cut.
Yeah.
And they made that happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, look, I love it. Warner Brother, HBO have said that they have more subscriptions than Disney. Like, that's how big that's how big it is. And I suppose it kind of makes sense because, like, you know, with their plans to be releasing everything on digital, you know, a lot of people would probably sign up. That kind of makes sense to me. And then, like, for stuff like the Wonder Woman movie, I heard that, like, you know, their servers can't even, like, even when they were trying to air the Snyder Cut, like, their servers are crashing and stuff. They have so many viewers trying to view it at the same time and stuff like that. The servers can't even handle it.
Yeah, I guess I could believe that, because like, I am more interested in all the movies coming out than I am the handful of like the 3 Marvel movies that we're gonna get on. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're getting the new Matrix movie. You're getting like there's a massive list of stuff that's coming out on HBO. I saw someone in the chat there earlier said that they were looking forward to Mortal Kombat. Like, that movie looks great.
Oh yeah,
that looks great. Like, and again, that's going to be that's a HBO release, if I'm not mistaken, as well as Godzilla, new Matrix. Like, there's so much.
I haven't even seen the trailer.
For what? Mortal Kombat?
Yes.
Oh my god, bro, watch that trailer. It's incredible. It's incredible. I'll throw it on when we finish talking, just as I'm going to take a break, like, just for 2 minutes and grab a drink and stuff. But I'll throw the Mortal Kombat trailer on just before I boot up Rust. But oh my god, that trailer is incredible. And like, I'm not the biggest like Mortal Kombat fan, but like,
same.
Second I saw that trailer, I was like, shit, I'm gonna watch the shit out of that movie. Like,
the opening scene of that trailer with the ice on the arms.
Yes. And
it's nice.
Yeah, I like that actor as well. He was in what was he in? He was on that awful Supergirl show, but he played Jimmy Olsen on that show, and he was actually really good. Like, I watched the first season of that show because it was heavily tied into the Flash show back when it was good and stuff like that. So I was heavily invested in that universe at the time.
How about Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke though?
Love it.
Again, what a shame if we don't get that.
That's another love letter from the fans to Warner Brothers, and they're like, you know, we want him as a cast. It's the same with Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. I think it's these are castings when the studios are listening to the internet and listening to the fans and what the fans want. The fans wanted Joe, and I think he's perfect for that role. I know there was talks, Ben Affleck's movie that he dropped off, the one that he was meant to direct and star in, before they went down the Pattinson route. He was meant to be doing his own solo movie called The Batman as well, as far as I'm aware, and it was him versus Deathstroke. That was the story of the movie, and I think they shot a couple of scenes, and there was like test footage of Joe in the suit and stuff, which I saw, and it looked incredible. This was before Justice League, so I think they might have just used the suit for the Justice League cut instead. But that was set to be something special, and I really think that that's going to happen now. I think Ben Affleck is back in. I think he's back. I'm
interested.
He's sober. He's in phenomenal shape. That end scene with him where he meets Martian, where he meets John Jones. Yeah, that was a reshoot. Like, that's him. That's what Ben Affleck looks like now. He's in great shape. He's looking healthy. He's sober.
He looked a little smaller.
That's what I thought. He's very skinny. He is very skinny now. Yeah. He's lost a lot of weight. I obviously, for that recut, he probably didn't need to bulk up for that. Like, you know, he's not gonna do 8 months in the gym just to sit in a bedroom and shoot a quick scene where he walks outside. You know, but I think
those close-up scenes were like shoulders up for him.
Yeah. No, seriously, it was like he was in trouble for that movie, bro. Like, in his personal life, like he was at rock bottom. Like, you know, like I feel very sorry for him. Like, he's had a rough go of it. Like, and you know, again, that just makes me love him as an actor and as a character even more. The fact that, you know, he's back, I think, like, you know, I think we're going to get to see this. Like, I think that movie will happen. Or there's been rumors that it's going to be like a 6-part series on HBO Max. Batman versus Deathstroke, you know, Ben versus Joe. I fucking take my money, you know.
And like, can I just say, for that scene where he was like where like he just woke up and the Martian guy woke him up. I don't know if he was acting there or they had him like sleep right before that. I've never seen anybody nail "I just woke up" more than Ben Affleck in that scene. Like I was like, did they really have him like take a nap and like wake him up? Like, all right, time to do the scene.
Yeah, I know.
Like he had morning voice. He was like groggy. He was great, man.
That's fantastic. Did you notice as well? He mentions to Diana about the dream that he had where Barry came to him. And that wasn't actually a dream. Barry goes back in time, but Ben Affleck still, or sorry, Bruce still like believes that it's a dream, and I loved at the very end that you see Flash in the future suit, the nightmare suit, and that just solidifies that he goes back in time, and because if you rewatch that scene, I've watched that scene so many times. When you rewatch that scene, the first thing he says, he's like, don't trust him. You were right about Superman the whole time.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, I've come back too far. I've gone back too far. He meant to go back to like a closer time to the nightmare. I think it was where they were trying to resurrect him or something like that instead. So he was trying to go back to Justice League, but he goes back too far. And he's like, oh, I'm too far. You were right about him the whole time. Lois is the key and stuff. So obviously, it's Injustice. Like if you read those stories or play those games, like that's where they're going. That's where they're going with it, and I am all in. It's
gotcha.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think there's a really, really bright future for DC. I just think they're finally on the right track, and I think the Flash movie I think has the promise to be unbelievable. That Flash movie I really think is going to be incredible. I think his performance in this movie now, in this cut of the Justice League, whoever's writing that movie can just reflect the character off his direction in this film rather than what we had seen of him in the Joss cut, which was him just being a little pussy who just was running around and afraid to interact with anybody,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think there's real fucking promise for that movie. Like the fact that we've got Michael Keaton returning as Batman is just gonna blow my mind.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Who'd
it's
have
not.
thought?
Yeah, like seriously, like, and then that he's supposedly meant to stay on, and that they're gonna have a Batman set in the future, Batman Beyond, and
Dude, they're not. Dude, if they do Batman Beyond, that's my childhood. Like
Yeah.
that was my favorite.
That's-
Like I love the Batman the animated series, but like
Yeah.
as a kid, I was addicted to Batman Beyond.
that's supposedly gonna happen after Flash. That's what they're saying. That he's old man Bruce Wayne is gonna be Michael Keaton. He's gonna train up the next Batman, and that could take off in its own series. Then I don't know what they're planning with the Pattinson thing. I think that might be a one-off kind of side kind of universe or something like that.
Maybe impregnating someone on top of the Batmobile kind of forces it to be a
that could be
one-off.
fantastic. That could be fantastic. I need to look up that, man. I didn't hear about that. That's absolutely hilarious.
So good.
That is
That's a good
absolutely
rumor.
hilarious.
I don't know if that's true, but like I want it to be true. Like I want that to be true.
It's true for me now. It's true for me now.
It's just too good of a story.
Yeah, no, it's incredible.
Like if you're not doing that, what's the point of being a celebrity?
Yeah, like you're Batman. Like you gotta.
There's no point.
You gotta be popping off if you're Batman.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I really
fantastic.
hope they keep it up. Like I hope there's better movies down the road for me. But I just in terms of the way they set up the tone
Yeah.
of the movie was a lot better. The character was a lot better, and what I really like about it is, unlike Josh's cut, I would say that this actually shows like a other side of the coin to a superhero and like a way superheroes can be done. Where like Marvel has a specific way.
Yeah.
It shows that there can be other ways for superheroes to be done that make them great to watch, compelling as characters, and they don't have to like have all these like tiny little flaws like Marvel characters. Like they can actually just be powerful,
Yeah.
and like still have things that are compelling about them.
Yeah.
And I hope DC is able to keep that going in the future, just with films that kind of line up with me more as a moviegoer personally.
Yeah. I think it's very, very possible. I think the Flash is the next big one that we'll see. And again, in classic DC kind of form, they've already now come out and said that the man who plays Henry Allen, Barry's father, he's walked off the movie and they're having to recast him. So I'm like, that was
a great. He's a great performance in that too.
Yeah, he was good. And it's just like now it's like, we got to recast, and now the Snyder Cut doesn't make sense because it's a different actor. I'm just like, it's always something. If it's not something, it's something else. Like, and
gotta lock him in.
Yeah, you gotta. Like, I don't know what that's about. Like, again, it's just something so silly. And then the actor who plays your man Ezra Miller, I don't know if you heard about his like stuff in real life. Like, he was like on the slopes in Austria or something, and he like choked out this woman on like caught on camera. Like, some woman came up trying to get a picture with him and all, and he lost, like, he was drinking, he lost his plot, and he like grabbed her by the neck and threw her to the ground and all. I'm just like, oh my god. I'm like, now they're gonna have to recast the Flash. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, although this happened a while ago now, to be fair. So
well, I don't think there's a statute of limitations on choking a bitch out.
I know, but I'm just saying, as in, if he would have lost his job, he would have lost it by now, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I'm not condoning what he did. I'm just saying, if there were going to be repercussions to it, it would have happened already. No, like because I heard about that when it happened. I think it was like 2 years ago, and when I heard it, I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake, here we go. We need a new Flash now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
was dialed into all this news. Holy moly!
Yeah, I'm a massive Flash fan. So when I heard that he was coming to the big screen, I've been invested in this one for a long time. So, yeah.
Can I ask you? Is the Flash supposed to be played more as a cocky jokester?
Is he
supposed to be a little bit more cocky?
In the comic books, no. In the comic books, like, he's like an investigative like CSI guy, and he's not very funny. But in the shows, he's comes across as a little more witty in the TV shows and stuff. And this version of him is, I think what they're trying to do with this version of him, they're trying to make him kind of like Elon Musk in a way, where it's kind of like, he's so smart that he talks so fast that you can't really understand him. And I think that's them trying to put together his intelligence and his speed, so he kind of is just jittery, and he's like, he's like blah, 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 and he's like trying to slow himself down and speak on our level and stuff like that. But as a character, he's obviously intelligent. Like, he's a physicist and everything. Like, he understands everything, and then he's quick as well. So they have a thing in the comic books called like it's like speed speech or something like that. So when he's talking to another speedster, it just sounds like noise, but they're like literally talking so fast that other people can't understand what they're saying. So like, it's just like
the real Irish.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I can understand it perfectly. But it's just like little things like that I picked up on with the character, and I thought that Snyder did that very well, because again, I hated what they did with the Lex Luthor character, but I don't know why they made him that way. He's never been portrayed that way at all, but I can see why Barry Allen would be, especially in this version, because he's only just found out about his powers, and he hasn't even named himself yet, which I think is funny. But by the time that the movie comes around, he's already been to the universe of the TV show, and the TV show Flash has named him now. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. Like,
that's very cool.
It's such a cool idea. So basically, they did on the CW universe, the Arrowverse as they call it, they did like a big massive crossover event. It was like Crisis on Infinity Earths. It was this massive comic book storyline, and in that, the Flash starts bouncing around different multiverses to try and find different Flashes or something to help him. And he goes to the DCEU, the Snyderverse. He goes to the Snyderverse, and he walks into a lab, and Ezra Miller's Flash is there. He's in the proper movie suit and everything, and the two of them start bouncing off each other, and it's phenomenal. And he refers to himself as the Flash, and you see Ezra kind of, the light bulb goes off. Oh, the Flash, I like that. Like, so that's how he gets the name. Like, I just thought that is just something that Marvel can't do. Like, just with the limitations that they've given themselves, or in the past have given themselves between TV and movie, they were very much divided. Not so much anymore, maybe, but Marvel wouldn't have been able to pull that off a few years ago, I don't think. Maybe now, I think now it's very much so going to be multi-platform, obviously with Disney, but it'll be interesting to see what they do with the likes of Daredevil and Punisher. Will they cross over to the movies? If they do, 1000% sold, you know? Like, I live for that sort of stuff. Like, I love when TV and movies mix. I'm all for it. I nerd out like crazy. Like, so, like, when I saw that happen with The Flash, I was just like, holy shit, like, this is incredible. Like, those CW shows were nearing the end of their life anyway, so I wasn't as invested. But that happening, it was just like, whoa, that's a big moment for movie, like, you know, for cinema.
Yeah.
That's a big moment.
For sure.
I thought that was unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know. I think there's big bright future for DC. Obviously, Marvel are in autopilot, really, to be honest. Like, you know, they can't do any wrong. I
think they can do a lot wrong.
Well, I just
even walking that line.
Even WandaVision, which a lot of people would consider as a failure, was still a tremendous moneymaker for them, and the average fan still fucking bent over backwards for it. Like, you know, I think
I loved it. I loved it.
The big nerds are poking holes, but I think it's still.
What do you mean?
No, like, you
How
know.
dare you?
No, but like, I enjoyed it as in its entirety, but if I was to start poking holes at it, you know where I stand on it. The first 3 episodes were pointless and so on.
Yeah.
But I just think even if like Winter Soldier does the same thing, where the first couple of episodes are not great, and then they have 1 or 2 good episodes in the 6, it's still going to be a gigantic hit. That's what I'm trying to say. It's snowballed so much now that it's an avalanche. Like, you know, there's no stopping it. Like, you know, it's autopilot is on. It's a money making machine, and even if it went shit for 3 or 4 years, it can't, like, considerably in a row, it would still be a money maker. You know what I mean? Even if like it dropped down to like they started making movies that were scoring 6 on IMDb, like, people are still gonna go. It's just autopilot is on.
True.
Yeah, big time. True. Blakey, thank you for contributing to the boost, brother. Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to end it there, guys? I think we kind of covered it for now. You know.
Mm-hmm.
That was a whole lot of DC, but you know, it is what it is.
Hopefully, some people learned something.
What a marvelous chat.
I did. Mm-hmm.
It's marvelous, but it's not all just Marvel. But DC is also marvelous. I love DC, so they are marvelous as well. Yeah, I don't know. Like, you know, I'm happy to do this next Friday. If we have everybody here, we can just break down Falcon episode 2. Or do you guys want to hold off and do 2 episodes? It's up to you.
Oh, that's gonna be too much.
Okay, so
I'm
happy
down
to
for weekly.
Oh yeah. If you're down for if you're down for weekly, I'm absolutely down for weekly. Bronxie's head will blow up.
Yeah, I can't do it.
All right, guys.
There's too much to think about for 1 episode for me. So
yeah.
Drinking too much of that yup.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. I'll never forget that one. Yup. Yeah.
It's like we have this drink. I don't know if you guys have it, but it's like a yogurt drink, and it's called a yop. I don't know if that's just a thing like in the UK and Ireland, but it's like a strawberry kind of like yogurt in like in a drink form, but they call it a yop, like YOP, yop. So that's what I'm hearing when you're saying yop for the name of that beer.
Is it jupe? Is that what we're saying? Jupe? Is
it jupe? Jupe?
Yes, that works. Yup.
Yup. Beautiful.
It means deep.
Deep. Oh, I like it.
nice.
All right, dudes. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Everyone.
Take it easy. Later.
Ciao.
Are you jumping into Rust, Bronxiee, or are you getting off?
I'll, whatever you want to do, I'm down.
Yeah.
For a bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind jumping into Rust for a bit.